Welcome, everyone, to this session in the Library 2.024 conference. Our session title is No Crystal Balls Needed, Keeping Current with Emerging Technologies. Give me a minute here. I'm just finding my advance button, so I'm sorry for the delay. There we go. Apologies, my mouse is working, but it's not advancing the slides. All right, so everybody can see me and hear me, I'm hoping. And I will. Magical. I do want to thank our founding partners, San Jose State University School of Information, and we have support from SkillType to put on these sessions 3 times a year. My name is Sue Alman. I teach at the iSchool at San Jose State University, and every year I teach a course called The Emerging Future, Technology Issues and Trends. So this is a quite shortened version of what goes on in the course, and it is an overview. So I will go quickly through this and then see if we have time for questions. I will also try to keep my eye on the chat. In case a question comes up, but I apologize if I don't get to your question. There is a distinction between forecasting and foresight. Oftentimes the terms are used interchangeably. I might even do it as a matter of habit. But up in the top right, you can see a quote from Warren Buffett that doesn't say too much for forecasters. But forecasting does look at data, but it is more singular and linear, so that you've got your idea of what you're going to do and you're making a prediction. Foresight, though, uses data, but it also uses all your other senses and discussions with other people and knowing about what is going on that impacts your organization and the wider community, so that you can have multiple potential futures. And you're planning for plan A, plan B. Just like today, when the person who directs the Library 2.0 wasn't able to make it, we all pitched in and we had a plan B that worked for the most part. So we are going to be talking about foresight with some insights into forecasting as we go along. So we're going to look specifically at libraries, library applications, and looking at user needs and interests. Some of these things are basic, but I'm going to go over them again as reminders of everything that needs to go in to foresight decisions and planning. We really need to know what's going on in the world, and we have to look at how libraries can use technologies to help. Right now, we're in the middle of a tense political situation, and libraries are there to help people with with voting. We also look at other things that are impacting our communities and our organizations: social media, technology, looking at security, a lot of these different things that, in addition to what we do with technical services and public services, we also have to look about what needs to happen for planning. These are just some of the topics and trends that were identified. The one from Gartner, that is a source that I look to for their reports. They're free, they're downloadable. Their technology trends for 2024 are AI in a lot of different formats. If you look to see what library trends, technology trends are predicted for 2024, looking at ACRL News and Information Today, we've got AI, again, generative AI, XR, VR, AR, UX, politicization, DEI, all these things that are impacting what we do as we plan for the future. What, again, do our users need, and what can we provide for them? So there are some options to improve your knowledge and foresight skills that we'll be going through. Uh, First three are very simple. I'm going to go into them in a little bit more depth, but we have to pay attention, not just have the tunnel vision on what is happening now in our library, but looking out to the communities, as I said, to our region, our state. Some of us are from different countries. The EU has done a lot with strategic foresight, and I'll be giving you some links in a little bit. So it's not just the United States, but we need to look at other countries, what they're doing as well. Scanning the environment and keep learning. And as Jason Griffey mentioned in the opening session, that we don't always have to know about the technology, how it works, but we have to know what it is capable of doing. So the title is There's No Need for Crystal Balls. We can't look at something and predict the future. You can see with the book that was the impetus for this conference, Library 2035, you've got people from all different parts of the information world predicting, projecting what might happen, but there are certain things that you can do to be aware of what is out there. And we need to be proactive. We need to look at the publications that are out there, social media to watch, organizations to watch, people to watch, and planning techniques. So this is the outline for what I'm going to be talking to you about in the next 20 minutes. Very quickly. There are many links here, and they will be provided to you on the Library 2.0 website when all of the presentations are there for you. So the PowerPoint will be there with the links. There are many educational programs that you can partake that are, some are free, some are low cost, some are tuition based. If you look at the University Futures and Foresight degrees and programs at this website, it lists all the different, I won't say all, it lists many programs around the world that deal with futures and foresight, from certificates and short courses all the way up to PhD programs. The University of Houston College of Technology was the first to become involved back in the 60s and has a very strong program in foresight now. And they have degrees and certificates. Technology at Work also will give you critical activities to futures thinking. So lots of different places that you can go to see what is available. The CES, Computer Electronics Show, which is held every year in Las Vegas. This next one will be January 7th through 10th. You may not be able to get there, but it is widely covered in the press, and you get a chance to see what are the hottest new technologies available. The South by Southwest conference has really exploded in importance. It takes place in Austin, Texas. Many of the sessions are online. But again, it is followed by the press so that you can see what is going on there. March 7th through the 15th. This is where I first became involved with blockchain. It's the first time I ever heard about it at a South by Southwest conference, and then started working on it. That was back in the late 20 teens when we had an IMLS grant. And we're really moving forward with blockchain as a new technology for libraries. And then COVID hit. So now we're on to other different things. There are many free and low-cost online programs that you can take advantage of. Skill Type, which is one of the supporters of this conference, offers you opportunities to see what courses are free or low cost. Coursera, Canvas, and Udemy are also places where you can go to see what is new and upcoming. Library 2.0 conferences like today. Web Junction is often overlooked from OCLC, but it has many topics and webinars that are of interest to you. Again, I mentioned the University of Houston, San Jose State University, where I work. We have Open University. It is tuition based, but you are certainly free to take a look to see what might work for you. We also have a library technology integration lab. If you just come onto the website and look for LTI, you can see what is there and play around with the technology. In the course that I teach, we look at all of these topics that have technology that is impacting them. Some are really obvious, like South by Southwest, the web, wearables, but there are other things with advances in technology, and libraries and information centers can maybe have some of these technologies or make them available to the needs of their users. And it's not going to be one size fits all. But at the top column on the right, funding for technology, I'm going to talk about budgeting and being aware of it. A lot of the technology is pricey. Our budgets may not be able to support it, but we have to know what technology we want, what we can afford, and then looking for partners and others ways to get grants to fund it. Well, I'm sorry, this is jumping back and forth. Aggregators. In order to keep on top of things and to try to look at all those topics that were on the previous page, you might want to subscribe to an aggregator. So I put some here. I do have links to them on the next slide. But looking at Feedly, Flipboard, Tech URLs, which lists lots of different websites that you can become up to date on technology. TED Recommends, of course, TED Talks, TechPort. I apologize for this. There we go, Tech URLs. TechURLs.com is a comprehensive news aggregator, and you can see that it lists Wired Magazine, The Verge, and those are just some on the screen capture that I did. There's the latest tech stories from all the different blogs and technology sites. So I highly recommend that you check out Tech URLs if you haven't done so or aren't familiar with it. There are many different blogs to watch. You have to be careful on who is writing the blogs. Are they really knowledgeable? But if you go to blog.feedspot.com/library_blogs, you will be able to find some that are specifically related to libraries. But again, I caution you to make sure that you use your information skills to know that they are reputable. Here on FeedSpot, there are the 80 best library and librarian blogs for you to check through and find out more about technology that is up and coming. And don't just look at libraries, but look outwardly at many other different sources. Blogs and publications to watch. There's a couple on here that you may not think would be able to help you with technology, but I find them really valuable. Smithsonian Magazine and their website in particular has new technology, and Old Popular Mechanics. That is a very easy to read, can give you ideas about what's on the horizon. Science Friday is one of my favorites whenever I get a chance on Friday afternoon on my NPR station. You'd have to look at your NPR station to see when it's available, but it's really very interesting and fast-paced to give you ideas on what is new. TechCrunch, Scientific American. The MIT Technology Review is also something that you can look at online. A journal that you may have access to, Technological Forecasting and Social Change, is a good source to watch and read. This is playing havoc with me. Okay, organizations to watch. NPR, of course. WFS, the World Future Society, World Future Studies Federation, Institute for the Future. Some of these are proprietary and you may have to join them, but it's something to look at. The Library Innovation Lab, TED, Ideas Worth Spreading. And then also look, Jason mentioned this in the opening general session, to look at some of the sites to see what they are promoting. So MIT Media Lab, Google Research, take a look and put that into your aggregator so that it comes up on your screen however you want it, daily, weekly, so that you can set aside time to look at what is interesting to you. There are many different people to watch. I've got Jason Griffey's picture up here, who was on one of our speakers today. There are a number of people. Find the ones that you like best. And as you start to read and see who is writing, you will find those that you like. Cecily Summers. There are more and more women coming on the scene. When I first started teaching this course 10 years ago, it was not that case. New technologies to watch. Blockchain may be it, but there are some uses that were discussed about having it be an ILL voucher system, a universal library card, or self-sovereign identity, that libraries could help people to have their own wallets with all of their credentials on it. AR, VR, XR, as I mentioned before, Web Junction articles. You can look at different programming demonstrations. Just have to be on the lookout for them and to go to some of the different labs to become used to them and familiar with them. Planning techniques. Moving quickly through this, I don't want to spend a lot of time, but this is just an old Dilbert cartoon that really points to the fact that you need to plan. You can't just have words, tie a bow on it, and call it a day. You really need to have foresight techniques. Planning with a purpose. Our main points are to, again, know about your organization. I always stress know about the non-users as much as the users. Your non-users may need the resources and services that the library has, that you can then point to them. Understand how to do an environmental scan or a SWOT analysis. It is not rocket science. Looking at census data, talking to people who come into your library, having focus groups, and doing regular controlled surveys if you have the time and the money for that. There is one book that I will recommend. It's Peter Bishop and Andrew Hines. It was written in 2012, but it still has relevant information. It's teaching about the future, and in part 3, chapter 10 is on planning. I make sure that all my students have it. It's a good overview, and it focuses on the future and not just our normal planning techniques. So one that I would really recommend. Ways that the forecaster or the person who has foresight plans. Again, it's not about predicting the future. It's taking a proactive role in planning for it and being at the table when decisions are made. You're looking to the future. You're also looking at what has worked in the past, just like in the overview session today, where they talked about not giving up services, but incorporating them into new services and seeing how you can do better and reach more people. The second to the last, where you have an understanding of the technological possibilities. There's so much technology that is coming at us so fast, and we do not have the resources to get every new gadget that is on the market. So that's why it's really important to know what is out there, what our users need, what our umbrella organizations need. If you are part of a city government or if you're part of a university, don't just go off on your own. Know exactly what that umbrella organization is planning, what kinds of technology they have, and how you can be a part of it. Again, at the bottom, an understanding of your society, what they need, and what their preferences may be. It's an ongoing process. So many times we get focused on developing the plan and then not looking at it, but it's something that you always keep at the forefront. And it doesn't have to be a formal plan that's the organization. You can do it individually, you can do it through your department or whatever your sphere of influence is. You're responding to what is actually taking place, not what was predicted. Being flexible, you have to be able to change. We always say we didn't plan for COVID. We turned and made new resources, new services, and we did react to it, but now we are being proactive in what is coming down the road with technology. We have to understand the technological landscape, looking at those resources that I told you about at the very beginning, the publications, the websites, blogs, the people, the publications. You need to understand your organization really clearly. You can go from one organization to the other that many of you have done, and you realize that it's not the same. And so you have to learn the lay of the land, learn what their strategic objectives are, and then be a part of that. Again, understanding your users and your customers, coordinating that appropriate technology with the organization's goals and objectives, and again, the budget. So knowing how much you have to spend and how you can get the money that you need to buy those things. We're at the end of the presentation. I really hurried through this, but I wanted to say that what we do is foresight. We have information identification, we have technology, We have the people skills. We know how to retrieve information. We know how to synthesize information. We know how to analyze information. So we are poised to take the lead, to help others in our organizations, to plan for the future. Assessment tools, really important, gathering the data, having scenarios that we create of what would happen if this happened, what would we do if that happened. We need to be in professional associations, having discussions like in this kind of a conference, regional, if you can go to a national conference, international. Backcasting is something that forecasters do, where you're looking at where you want to be in 10 years and then going back to see what you can do incrementally to be able to get to that point. Alignment is necessary, as I said, with your part of the organization, the library, with the umbrella organization, and looking again at the culture, the clients, the products. Again, it can be done by an individual. I know someone who was in an organization that did not have a strategic plan and did it on their own with their small department to be very proactive. Assessment, as I said, and I'm moving quickly so that you can get to the closing session. But the best way to predict your future is to create it. And here is my email if you want to get in touch with me. I thank you very much for your attention. And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to look through all of the chat. But as I said, this will be all recorded and it will be available on the Library 2.0 website. So thank you so much. And, be out there proactive and creating the future.